welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your favorite girl here, Ella. I am a final year law student in the University of Birmingham. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe, like, share this video, leave me a comment on what your favorite part of this video is, or if you have any questions, you can leave a comment whilst watching or at the end of the video after you're done watching. And finally, turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post my videos. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for riding with me through this journey. Like you have seen from the title of this video, we're going to be talking about the best study patterns for law students and the University of Birmingham UK law school grading system. This is because I got a special request from Tamilore Akeju. I'm going to put the person's comment over here for you all to see, and it says, "Hi, I love your videos." The person, Tamilore, was commenting on one of the videos I had done in the past. He says, "Hi, I love your videos so much, and I'm hoping to come to Birmingham as well for the exact same program. Could you make a video on how you read and how the grades are done as well, and also how to use OSCOLA?" So I'm going to be talking about that in this video. I know it's been a long time coming, but it has been a tough and busy school year so far. I finally got time to do this video today. I hope it's not too late for you, Tamilore, or for anyone else who will be watching the video today. I mean, I call it the best study patterns, but honestly, this is how I study. This is what I have done, what I've learned from the mistakes that I made in my first year, and the things that I've changed in my second year, and how I approach studying now as a law student. This works for me, but I believe that every law student will eventually devise the patterns and devise what works for them on how to study and best approach the exams. So yeah, you're going to be hearing a lot about that in today's video. First, before talking about studying, you've heard me talk a lot in different videos on this channel about the university, about the school, my extracurricular activities, my activities as a law student, the modules, the good, the bad, the ugly, the nice experiences that I've had. But before going straight into the study patterns, I want to talk about the usual things that you would get with the University of Birmingham and with any university in general. The first one is lectures. The lectures will introduce you to the topic of what you'll be studying. Typically, you would have the lecture slides uploaded to Canvas by whatever lecturer is teaching you for that particular day or week of school, or for that particular topic. They would upload your slides to Canvas, which gives every student access. What I have been doing since I started using my laptop to take my lecture notes is I will go on, check for, shout out to the lecturers who actually upload the slides earlier than the day before or the night before. So to lecturers who upload their slides way in advance and use those actual slides, they don't make changes, on the day or an hour before the change. Shout out to you all. You all are great, made my life easier in terms of getting my notes ready. Yes, but yeah, I'll prepare my lecture slides, take them on from wherever the prof has. So some professors might use Prezi, some might use PowerPoints. You get access to the slides and I transcribe them. I put them in my notes, literally picture, copy and paste, so that during the lecture, anything that's not already on the slides, I'm able to hear what the professor is saying and then input my notes personally. So professors read off their slides, so there's really not much you can do, but at least you already have the notes on there. That's one with lectures. I use OneNote SharePoint. I have access to my university account, so that's kind of free for me. But after school, I need to find ways to take all my notes with me because I know I'm going to lose the student account. So that's one downside. But at least with SharePoint, I am assured that hopefully, knock on wood, nothing would happen to my notes because everything is online. I've had friends who things have happened to their laptops or things have happened to the note-taking platform that they use, and they've lost all their notes during the semester or almost at the verge of exams. So putting your stuff out there online in the cloud is really, really good for you, which is why I use OneNote. That has been helpful to me throughout my second year and half of my first year as well. If you know me on this channel, you will know how much I've said how I started out with writing, and that wasn't cutting it for me, and so I switched to note-taking. OneNote was the app I used for my lectures, and for every other reading that I did, everything was put on OneNote. The next after lectures is seminars. This is where you would actually prepare for lectures. They introduce you to the topic. Seminars will have seminar questions, required readings, supplementary readings that you can do to prepare you for the seminar and to answer those questions. This is what actually helps you with the modules. So you would hear seminar leads, and professors will always say prepare for the seminars because they help you. You get to explore more about the topic and ask all the questions. But if you didn't prepare for them before coming, you really don't know what's going on. You can't engage, you can't participate with your peers. And if nobody prepared for the seminar, then it's essentially almost useless, especially if you have a seminar lead that is not really going to help you if you don't have any questions. That's what seminars are for. You go study about the topic, you answer the questions before coming in, and then the seminar lead and your peers will clarify any problems or questions that you might have. Another thing I forgot to write in my notes here: if you're hearing noises, I am so sorry. I am in the library today and there are people using the other study room. This is not noise cancelling walls, so I can hear them. I don't know if you all can. Hopefully you can't, but bear with me. We're gonna ride through this video because this is the only time I have to actually shoot it. Let's not talk about editing it. I'll edit it when I have time, but this is the time I have to shoot it. Something I didn't include in my notes is personal support hours. So each week, every professor, or like every other week, every seminar lead would have in-person or office Zoom hours. Each student is allotted 10-minute slots. I mean, you can book more if you want, but it's 10 minutes for each student. You can come in if you have questions about the topic. If you have areas that you're not understanding, you can book them and go and speak with your seminar lead or your professor about it. The good thing is that it doesn't have to be with the specific seminar lead that you are having. So if you're not understanding your seminars, for example, you can go to another person's seminar lead or go to the prof directly to help you engage and understand the topic more. So I used a lot of that more in my second year than I did in my first year. I used the office academic support hours. That's another way that can help with your studying and improving. Let's talk about summative and exam preparations. So in the UK, there's something called, in the University of Birmingham, I don't know if this is an entire UK thing, there's something called formative and there's something called summative. Formative are non-graded coursework, but they are structured to kind of help you with the summative exams. So summative, think of exams. Formative, they are like preparation, and they help you prepare for your summative exams. So I'll just keep calling them exams instead of summatives, because summative, they almost sound alike. When you think of formatives, think of they don't have any grading. So you just do them. You will get feedback from either your peers, depending on how the module is structured. Either you get peer feedback, you get general feedback from the staff module leaders, or you get personalized feedback when your work is marked individually. It all depends on the feedback. These are all ways that can help you with your learning throughout your law degree out here in the University of Birmingham. Before I proceed with summative feedback, let me do it this way. I'm going to talk about summative and exam preparations because that was the first question I had from Tamilore. So what I did, at least in my first year, was for specific modules are also called courses, depending on where you're coming from. They will call it modules here, but in Canada we'll call them courses. I organized my notes by topics. Typically the school year is 11 weeks straight non-stop, and then you get either a Christmas break or an Easter break. If it's first semester, you get a Christmas break. Second semester, you get an Easter break. 4 weeks, I believe, 4 weeks each above each other, and this is when you get to relax and revise. During this revision time, if I'm having the 3-hour exams, I would organize my notes based on topics. So for example, with contract law, my first year, criminal law, we knew that the questions will be structured in a topic fashion. So for example, if it's about homicide, if it's about theft and all of that, these are like separate block topics that were taught by different professors. And so I organized my notes by topic and focused on areas that I understood the most, because I knew that come the exam time, they would have a variety of questions. I think criminal law, we had 5 questions and we could choose 2 from. So there was always a possibility that the topics I studied for were going to be on the exam, and that was what happened. So I focused majorly on topics that I had strengths in, poured everything into that revision process, and that was what I did for the exams. I didn't study everything. There are some modules that you would have to study everything. So for example, in my second year now, land law, everything is intertwined. You have to study everything. You have to know what's going on for the 22 weeks of the module. So 11 weeks of first semester, 11 weeks of second semester. You have to know everything that's going on and study the entire module in order for you to pass. There are things like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing for my second year. I didn't do any group studying. There might be some people who did that, but that's has never really been my style of studying in a group setting. But yeah, even when you do group work, group studying, you still have to go away and do your own individualized thing, because you'll be writing this exam by yourself. So even if you're coming from another degree that's been helpful with group studying, just know that things may be likely to change, because you're also expected to have your individualized touch whilst you're taking on those exams. For each module, you would learn about the examination structure, what the summative would look like. You would know about the deadlines for the formatives. You might not not get the exact date, but you will know about the month when those deadlines will be approaching. You would also have your summative and formative, both deadlines you will know about. In your first year, you will learn about the differences between formatives and summatives, which I've already spoken to you about here. You will know what the exam structure would be like. So with structure of examination, I mean some modules, well, most of them have 100% of your mark is on the summative exam. The summative exam can either be an essay or a problem question or 2 problem questions, and it's 3 hours. So if it's an essay, you get the question way ahead of the deadline, and then you can prep for that, have your essay. This is where you would use OSCOLA, which I'll talk about in the other segment of this video. But yeah, with the essay, you would always have to use OSCOLA, which is a referencing system that the law school uses and accepts only OSCOLA. So if you don't know anything about OSCOLA, you have to learn about that. I'll tell you more about that in a few minutes. So if it's not an essay, you would either have multiple choice test and a 3-hour exam, or you could have a multiple choice test and an essay. It all depends on the topic, honestly. There's no one way about it. So but just know that you will be assessed either 100% is on this particular one summative exam. So everything you'll be learning, if something happens on the exam day, like things happen to me during my third exam, all your grades are placed upon that. You know, there's advantages and big disadvantages to that, in my opinion, because I mean, it would be better if we had assessments that were actually worth marks, in my opinion, during the semester, and then see where we are at the module, and then have a final exam, even if it's graded, you know, 50-50 and all of that. But sometimes I know in the beginning of my law school experience, thinking about 100% on one 3-hour exam or one essay was just really a lot on me, and I still don't agree with how it's done, but hey, I can't really make any changes, or rather it's too late for me to make any changes. So that's how the system works here. So you're doing either the multiple choice test. You could also have multiple choice test formatives. So throughout the semester, you would have practice multiple choice tests that you can practice doing for multiple times during the school year, and that's to kind of help you for your summative MCTs. So there's MCTs, there's a 3-hour online exam. Say your exam date is on April 2nd. The questions will be open at 12 noon and you'll be expected to submit at 3 p.m. That's the 3-hour online exam. Or there's also essays. So these are ways that you can be assessed to be graded out here in the University of Birmingham for your summative. Let's talk about OSCOLA citations. Like I said, OSCOLA is one of the citations that you would have to learn when you're coming or whilst doing your law degree out here in University of Birmingham. I wasn't familiar with OSCOLA before coming here to school, and they are necessary for your essay assessment. I mean, during the 3-hour exams, you're expected to cite, but you're not penalized or scrutinized more than you would have been when you've gone away and researched and had time to edit your essay for many weeks, or maybe even up to a month. With OSCOLA, you use that as your referencing system. You could get penalized for not using OSCOLA properly. I mean, your markers will literally tell you put a point or a period where you're not supposed to, you didn't cite this well. You could get marks deducted for not referencing properly. And I believe in my second year, I got better with OSCOLA thanks to my friend Julie and to my personal academic tutors and co who recommended this website, Cite Them Right. I'll put the names in quotation marks. And I believe if you're a law student, you can get access to Cite Them Right through your institution, or maybe you have to get your own account. But I get access to Cite Them Right through my University of Birmingham sign-in details. It explains everything about OSCOLA to you. You can know how to cite books, cite articles, cite edited books, citing judgments from different jurisdictions. But yeah, it gives you the general gist. So if you want to learn more about OSCOLA, I mean, there are videos on YouTube too that can help you with that. But if you're doing your own schoolwork, you're doing your own essay, and you need to cross-check that you're using OSCOLA properly, Cite Them Right is a very great website. It has helped me. And how do I know that it has helped me? It is because I got positive feedback from my professors who marked my first semester essay. So it was, you're using OSCOLA perfectly, this is such great citation, and I know one way or the other that would have influenced the marks that I got. So Cite Them Right is a great and wonderful website for law students to have. Water break. Oh. Let's move on to your UOB law school grading. Like I've already spoken about, 100% grades for most of your modules. Some of them are 50-50. So some MCTs, for example, with LSAM, that was the first year module. You have 50% for your MCT, 50% for the essay piece, I believe, that you were going to write. Yeah, 50%. Then in my second year with the equity, trust, wills, and formalities modules I'm doing, the MCT is worth 30% and the essay is worth 70%. So it all always vary, while other modules, everything is worth 100%. The essays are typically 3,500 words, 3,500, or with equity this year, we have 3,000 word count. And this word count will include footnotes. So with OSCOLA, you have footnotes. So those are inclusive, but they do not include the bibliography or your reference/works cited page. Your 3,500 words is made up of the words in your essay and also your OSCOLA footnotes referencing as well. Your MCTs will typically be 1 hour timed, and I believe you're usually 30 questions for that 1 hour timed. But with practice MCTs that you've gotten during the semester, you would have like 10 or 15 questions for a 30-minute time block, or you would have untimely MCTs that you can just keep doing. So these things are used to help you prepare for your summative/final exams or final MCTs that you would have to take during the school time. And with the MCTs, usually they're taken in a 24-hour block. So for example, the questions open at 9 a.m. on April 3rd, and you have to take it within an hour between that 9 a.m. of April 3rd and 8:59 a.m. of April 4th. So you have a 24-hour time running. You pick 1 hour out of it, and then you complete your MCT with that 1 hour time. If you don't finish all the questions before the 1 hour time, then it's automatically submits your assessment. But if you've been doing those practice MCTs, you've done the formative, and you've helped yourself throughout the entire school year, then that should actually help you with your summatives in the end. Let's talk about the grades, which was the second part of Taminare's question. And it's graded not with letters. So there's no A, B, C, D, F. I don't know if there's E in other places, but it's not a letter grading. It's according to class. So there's first class, which is for 70 and above. So if you're scoring the 70% and above, which is incredibly hard to achieve, if you're doing that level, then that's a first class grade. There's upper second class, which is a 2-1, and that's between 60 to 70%. There is lower second class, which is a 2-2, that is between 50 to 60%. There is third class, which is 40 to 50%. And like I said before, there's no A, B, C, or D's, but you should always aim to be at the upper second class, which is a 2-1, and a first class threshold. That's a good scale to be on. I would also attach a screenshot, if I've not already done so, of the University of Birmingham grading system, and I'll put the link in the description box to your grading scale and how it can be converted for the University of Birmingham as well, for everyone to have access to that. I believe that's everything you need to know about study pattern, how I study by myself. With seminars, I would prepare for my seminars typically. You might not be able to prepare for all the seminars, but at least try your best, because law school can get hectic. Focus on the required readings before you go into the resource list that would have a bunch of other supplementary readings, but focus on those seminar questions, because that's what will technically come out in the exam. If the professor is putting that case for you to read, if they're putting that article for you as required, then these are things that would help you out with your summative. This year, in my final year, something that I wish I did in my first year was in terms of seminars. If I wasn't understanding some seminar leads and I heard good things about my friends' seminars, I would go and attend their seminars as well as mine. So that way I'm learning the topic 3 times, and I found that it really helped me. Yeah, that was really good for me. I did that with a couple of modules this semester, and that has actually helped me. Maybe if I did that in first year, that would have helped my understanding of some other modules that I took in first year, but that might not always be the case, because you might have classes when other seminars are taking place, but you have to find ways to ensure that you get everything that you are paying for. So if you're not understanding a topic, if you're not understanding a module, no one's going to know unless you speak about it. So make use of this academic support hours. Visit your professor or your seminar lead or the person that you would understand. Go to your seminar, do the readings as much as you can. You will not be able to ever catch up with law school, and that's fine. So that's everything I have for you all on this video in terms of how to study, preparing for seminars in advance, having your lectures notes ready before you actually go into the lecture, being prepared, organizing your notes for exams in terms of by each topic, or when it comes to essays, starting your essays beforehand, weeks before the deadline, so that you can also have the opportunity to pick brains of your peers in terms of feedback. And sometimes you might be able to ask professors as well surrounding questions, not showing them what you want to write in your essay, but because they will read it, but having an idea, brainstorming, and making sure that you're on the right track. Yeah, so these are the things that I have done during my law school journey, some changes I've made using the feedback I have gotten, and that's all I have for today's video. I hope this helps someone out there, especially Taminare, who requested for this video. If you've made it up to this point, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell so you get notified whenever I post my videos. Leave me a comment if you have any questions, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.